I sense it the second I walk through my parents' front door. Something's off. The air feels charged, heavy, like the hush that comes right before a thunderstorm. Mom's smile stretches unnaturally wide as she takes my coat. Dad's handshake lingers too firmly, almost rehearsed. My sister March practically vibrates with excitement, her eyes flicking between them with a conspiratorial glint I haven't seen since childhood. "Sarah, sweetheart, so glad you're here." Mom gently guides me toward the dining room, her hand pressing against my back with unusual insistence. The table is flawless, her finest china, crystal glasses that only come out for holidays, and a centerpiece of fresh flowers. Whatever's about to happen, they've staged it carefully. I slide into my usual seat across from March, whose grin reminds me of when she was 8, snickering as I was about to sit on the whoopee cushion she'd hidden under my chair. Dad carves the roast beef with precision. Mom serves mashed potatoes, green beans, and those Parker House rolls I've adored since I was a kid. That's when I see it. A manila folder, its corner peeking out from beneath Dad's napkin. My stomach knots. "How's the clinic, Sarah?" Mom's voice is a little too bright, too controlled. "Still working yourself ragged?" "Business is good," I answer simply, watching Dad's eyes dart toward the folder. "We've increased patient volume by 20% this quarter." March snorts softly. "All those patients, but such a tiny waiting room. You should really think about upgrading." The puzzle pieces fall into place in my mind, forming a picture I wish I didn't recognize. Dad clears his throat, setting his fork down with a deliberate clink. "Sarah, we've been giving a lot of thought to the future of your clinic." I freeze mid-bite, food turning to sawdust in my mouth. Mom jumps in smoothly as if they've practiced. "Family businesses need family leadership, darling." "It's not a family business," I say carefully. "With our support you built it," Dad counters, sliding the folder closer. "And now March has an excellent plan that will help everyone." March straightens proudly, preening. "I've put together a business proposal to take over as your practice manager. I'll handle all the boring administrative stuff so you can just focus on patients. All I'd ask for is a 25% profit share. It's more than fair considering the growth I'll bring." My pulse pounds. This isn't Sunday dinner. It's a coordinated ambush. Memories crash back. Double shifts at the hospital cafeteria during physical therapy school. Sending money home to help March through her freshman year while I survived on ramen in a dingy studio with curbside furniture. Falling asleep over textbooks after 14-hour rotations. The $187,000 in student loans that still eat at my checking account. "I already have a clinic manager," I say, steady and sharp. Mom waves a dismissive hand. "But March is a natural people person. Remember how she charmed Dr. Wilson at your opening? He barely noticed you." "Oh, I remember." I also remember Dad brushing aside my academic honors at graduation, posing March in my cap and gown as if my achievements were hers. I remember her disastrous stint at the front desk last summer, handing out unauthorized discounts to her sorority sisters, botching the schedule so badly I spent weeks apologizing to furious patients. "May I see your plan?" I nod toward the folder. Dad slides it across with a smug smile. "My attorney already drafted the documents. Just needs your signature." "I can start tomorrow," March chirps. "I already have ideas for redecorating your office." I sip water slowly, setting the glass down deliberately. Then with measured calm I reach for my own briefcase at my side. "Before we discuss this further," I say, "there's something you should see." The lock clicks open with a sound like a gunshot. Dad's smile falters. I withdraw a leather portfolio, the expensive one I splurged on after securing the Denver sports medicine contract, proof of what I've built without their interference. "What's this?" Dad's voice wavers and used to surprises. Mom fidgets with her napkin, eyes darting nervously. March's victorious grin begins to crumble. I spread my papers neatly across the table, aligning them with precision. 3 weeks ago, I signed a management services agreement with Colorado Healthcare Partners. I tapped the logo on the letterhead. They'll be handling all administrative functions for the clinic from now on. Dad grabs for the document, frowning. "You can't make decisions like this without consulting family." "Actually, I can." I slide another page forward. Section 4.3, highlighted for your convenience. No family members may be employed in management positions without unanimous board approval. The board is myself and two CHP partners. March's face burns crimson. You did this to shut me out. I made a business decision, I reply evenly, locking eyes with her. Based on prior experience. From my portfolio I pull another folder, patient complaints neatly organized. Its thickness alone speaks volumes. These are from last summer when you worked at the clinic. 15 scheduling errors, 23 unauthorized discounts, 8 of which went to your sorority sisters, and 31 billing code mistakes that nearly triggered an audit. Sarah, honey, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning, Mom pleads, reaching across the table but stopping short. These weren't learning mistakes, I say, standing. The power shift is instant as I tower over them. They were careless errors from someone who thought rules didn't apply to her. I slide out another document. My accountant's report, detailing the $42,000 in free treatments I've provided this family over the past 3 years. Dad's rotator cuff therapy, Mom's plantar fasciitis, March's sports massages before her vacations. The silence is crushing. Their expressions shift from entitlement to unease. While I carried your medical bills, I was living on instant noodles to cover my loans. While you funded March's education, I worked double shifts and slept on treatment tables to afford rent and malpractice insurance. My phone buzzes, a text from my clinic manager. Did you tell them yet? The timing is perfect. A reminder I'm not alone. My staff witnessed March's summer disasters. They know the truth about the Bennett family dynamic. My mentor warned me years ago that family and business don't mix, I say, remembering Dr. Winters catching me crying in the supply closet after Dad skipped my clinic's grand opening. I should have listened sooner. I gather my papers with the same meticulous order I use to prep supplies for patients. The ritual steadies me. We can negotiate, Dad says, desperation creeping in. 20% instead of 25. A trial period. I snap the portfolio shut. My clinic isn't your piggy bank. It's my life's work. Mom clasps her throat, her voice quivering. I never thought you'd put business before family. The words hang in the air, exposing everything that's wrong with their definition of family. In their eyes, my achievements don't belong to me. They exist as opportunities for them to claim. My clinic, the years of sweat and sacrifice, is not my success in their narrative but their entitlement. I'm not choosing business over family, I answer, my voice steadier than the storm brewing inside me. I'm choosing boundaries over exploitation. March shoves her chair back, with scraping against the floor. You've always been so dramatic, Sarah. Acting like you carried everything on your own, when we've been behind you the whole way. Behind me? I arch a brow. When was that exactly? Was it during my graduation, when Dad handed you my cap and gown for photos? Or when Mom introduced me to Dr. Wilson at my own clinic opening as just the medical worker, while you soaked up all the attention? The memories rise unbidden, bubbling to the surface like air and water. My 12th birthday, nothing but a card by my cereal bowl, while 2 weeks later March's 10th birthday was celebrated with a teal bicycle, complete with streamers and a basket, the entire family cheering her wobbly laps around the driveway. My high school valedictorian ceremony, where no one from my family showed up because March had a cold. I zip my briefcase closed. Your support always seemed to disappear at the moments that actually mattered. Dad rises to his feet too, but his presence doesn't carry the same intimidation it once did. You've changed, Sarah. Success has made you cold. No, I meet his gaze without blinking. Success finally made me impossible to ignore. And you don't know how to deal with a daughter you can't diminish. I lift my briefcase from the chair, surprised at how weightless it feels now compared to the burdens I've carried for years. For the first time since walking in this house, I inhale a full breath that doesn't ache. I'll see myself out. I pause at the doorway, glancing back just once. Oh, and starting next month, family treatments will be billed at the regular rate. Our charity program is for patients who can't afford care, not for relatives who refuse to pay. Behind me, Mom gasps sharply, Dad mutters under his breath, and March lets out a dramatic sob. But their reactions no longer tether me to the old, suffocating dance of appeasement. The evening air greets me as I step outside. My phone buzzes, another message from my clinic manager. We're all here for you. For the first time I actually believe it. That night, back in my apartment, the memories return with sharp clarity. My 12th birthday, a Tuesday in April. I aced a math test that day, came home to a lonely card propped beside my cereal bowl. 2 weeks later, March's party filled the driveway with cheers, her shiny new bike sparkling in the sun. Dad tossed me the camera. "Sarah, get a picture of your sister. This is a milestone." I framed March's wide smile through the viewfinder as Mom waved a handkerchief like royalty was departing. Later, while helping Mom wash dishes, I asked, "Remember when I got my first bike?" She hesitated, sponge midair. "You always preferred books, Sarah. You were practical." But I hadn't. I'd circled bikes in catalogs for years. High school graduation came with honors, valedictorian, a science medal, a full scholarship to Colorado State. The auditorium brimmed with parents holding flowers and cameras. Mine showed up 7 minutes after my speech, sliding into back row seats just as I sat down. "Traffic was awful," Mom whispered afterward, empty-handed. "But we're here now. March has her recital tonight. You'll be there, right?" The pattern only grew sharper. In college, my dean's list certificates were mailed home while I worked double shifts at the hospital cafeteria. The envelopes lay unopened on the kitchen counter for weeks. At physical therapy school graduation, I waited alone until March spotted me. "There you are," she called, grabbing my mortarboard. "Dad wants pictures of me in this. You don't mind, do you?" And for 20 minutes I watched as they posed with her in my hard-earned cap, their backs turned to my cords and the diploma case in my hands. "Book smarts don't build practices, Sarah," Dad reminded me afterward, handing my cap back without meeting my eyes. 4 years later, I was hunched over my laptop past midnight, the clinic dark except for my office light. Loan statements glared on the screen. $187,000 still owed, monthly payments heavier than rent. That same night, I wired $1,200 to March, covering yet another temporary housing crisis after her 4th job change. My own apartment was filled with scavenged furniture, an uneven-legged coffee table, a musty second-hand sofa that no amount of cleaning could fix. The sound of my empty stomach echoed in the silence. That morning, the bank manager had handed me yet another rejection letter. "Without a co-signer or additional collateral, Ms. Bennett, we can't approve your expansion loan." My parents had refused to co-sign. But they'd bought March a brand new car the month before. "She needs reliable transportation for interviews." That night, I collapsed on a treatment table in my own clinic, the paper crinkling under me as I pulled a patient blanket around my shoulders. 16 hours of back-to-back appointments followed by paperwork. The cleaning crew found me still there at 5 a.m., clutching spreadsheets in my sleep. 6 months later, when Healing Hands finally opened in its own space, not just a rented back room, I threw a modest reception. My parents stopped by for 15 minutes, squeezed between March's bridal shower and a dinner reservation. "It's nice," Mom said, glancing at her watch. "Like a real office." Dad studied my framed credentials. "Just remember, it's about people, not degrees." They left before the champagne toast, before the ribbon-cutting photo, before the small but meaningful celebration of the staff who had helped me get there. The summer March takes over the front desk, my professional life turns into a nightmare. Her sorority sisters somehow end up with unauthorized discounts, while regular patients discover their appointments either rescheduled without notice or outright canceled. Insurance paperwork doesn't get processed at all. It piles up only to be discovered by me crammed into desk drawers late at night. When I ask her why, March just shrugs. "They were boring," she says. "Besides, they're just old people with Medicare. It's not like they've got anywhere important to be." After she leaves, I spend weeks personally phoning every single patient, apologizing and rebuilding the trust she had so carelessly destroyed. The real turning point comes during a tense meeting with Blue Shield's regional provider representative. She sits across my desk, stern-faced, ready to reject yet another round of claims submissions. "Ms. Bennett, your documentation simply doesn't meet our standards for..." Before she can finish, I slide a thick folder across the desk. Inside are revised protocols I created to align exactly with their requirements. Every treatment code is carefully cross-referenced with their latest manual. Her brows lift as she flips through the pages. "You did all this yourself?" "Every night for 3 weeks," I answer. Her evaluation is blunt. Most providers either argue or give up. 3 days later, the insurance company approves our entire claims backlog. Word spreads quickly about our precision and outcomes, and soon physician referrals begin to pour in. After 2 long and exhausting years, the clinic finally posts its first profitable month. Late one night, I check the accounting software 3 times before allowing myself to believe the numbers. There's no one to celebrate with, but for the first time the silence doesn't feel like abandonment. It feels like power. That's when I realize something profound. My invisibility has become my strength. While my family doted on March's charm and social circles, I was quietly building something that mattered. Every ounce of persistence, precision, strategy, and independence I'd cultivated is now the foundation of a thriving business. Ellie Morgan, my clinic manager, proves that truth when she turns down a lucrative hospital position just to stay. They don't value people the way you do, she tells me, tearing up the offer letter. I've been in healthcare for 30 years, Sarah. What you're building here is extraordinary. When March's mistakes in scheduling once again throw our days into chaos, my staff doesn't complain. Instead, they stay late, order pizza, and push through the backlog. We've got this, Carlos, my lead therapist, assures me as midnight ticks closer. You may be sisters, but we're a team. Every Friday morning, our meetings begin with each person. Yes, even the cleaning staff, sharing the week's challenges and victories. Everyone's voice carries weight. It's the opposite of my family dinners, where my words were constantly dismissed or interrupted. The call from Denver Rehabilitation Center's medical director arrives one Tuesday afternoon, casual but life-changing. We've been following your outcomes. Our orthopedic department wants to explore a specialized treatment partnership with you. That means access to 2,000 patients. That evening, instead of scrambling to clean up chaos, we celebrate. 9 of us now, not 3, raising plastic cups and store-bought cake in the clinic after hours. To Sarah, Ellie calls out, who saw possibilities when others only saw obstacles. Later, when the last person leaves, I remove my very first business license from its frame and trace the embossed seal. Tomorrow it will hang in our expanded reception area. A reminder that sometimes being overlooked lets you build foundations no one expects to last. 6 weeks after that confrontation, I sit in my corner office overlooking Denver's skyline. My desk, however, faces the treatment floor, not the view. Through the glass wall, I watch Meredith patiently guide Mrs. Hoffman through post-stroke exercises. Her care mirrors what I have always believed about healing, something my family never truly grasped. The difference between my modest office and our state-of-the-art therapy areas is intentional. Patients deserve the best equipment. I've learned I can work perfectly fine with a second-hand desk and plain chair. Every dollar saved gets reinvested where it matters most. I adjust the original Healing Hands therapy sign mounted on my wall, salvaged during our recent expansion, from 3 treatment rooms to 15. From working alone to leading a team of 15 therapists who share my vision of patient-first care. My phone buzzes again for the 3rd time today. I silence it without checking, already knowing it's the same as yesterday and the day before. Just checking in, honey. Usually paired with veiled questions about the clinic or sly mentions of March's latest unemployment struggle. Since I've turned down their dinner invitations 6 weeks in a row, the calls have only increased. Mom alternates between guilt, we never see you anymore, and fake business interest. Have you thought of offering discounts to senior communities? Dad even tried calling my accountant directly last week, but thankfully I had warned him in advance. The most desperate move came yesterday, when March showed up unannounced at our busiest hour, waving a folder of incredible marketing ideas that coincidentally required her full-time employment. Mark, my front desk manager, followed policy, offered her a seat in the waiting room and called me immediately. I didn't leave my patient session. Now, as the afternoon sun warms my face, I reread the email draft I've been writing, deleting, and rewriting for weeks. It's clear, professional, and unavoidable. To my family, as I've said before, I am now establishing professional boundaries regarding Healing Hands therapy. No family members will be employed here, nor will management decisions be open for your input. All treatment services will be billed at the standard rate. Business discussions remain strictly between me and my management team. I am still open to rebuilding our personal relationship, but completely separate from my professional life. My finger hovers over send when Carol, my clinic manager, walks in carrying 2 steaming mugs. Thought you might need reinforcements, she says, setting one beside me. Then she slides her phone across the desk. On the screen is my mother's Facebook profile. She's posted a photo from our clinic's opening 3 years ago, her arm wrapped around me, smiling for the camera. The caption reads, So proud of my daughter Sarah's vision with healing hands therapy. Back then I thought it was genuine support. Now I know it was just another performance. We've always believed in her healing touch. Proud mama, family business. The timestamp says it was posted just 20 minutes ago. The hashtag is the part that stands out, Carol notes carefully. Family business. The phrase tastes bitter in my mouth. I hit send on my email. They've never contributed a single dollar to this clinic, never worked an hour here, never believed it would make it until it did. The community is starting to see the cracks, Carol adds. Dr. Reynolds mentioned it last week when he sent over that complex shoulder case. I glance up surprised. He said he always refers patients here because you built something real. Not inherited. Not gifted. Carol's hand brushes the frame of my original business license. He also said he respects how you credit your team instead of bragging about your family background. Her words bring me back to last Friday's staff meeting when I had credited our success entirely to the team's dedication, not my own vision. Out of the corner of my eye, I had noticed March's friend Kimberly in the waiting room, her phone tilted just enough to catch a recording of our gathering. That reminds me, I say, pulling up another email. The scholarship fund is officially approved. Next semester we'll sponsor 2 physical therapy students who demonstrate financial need. Carol smiles knowingly. Your mom called that wasteful charity when she overheard us talking. Which is exactly why it matters, I reply, standing and stretching stiff muscles. Any updates from the accountant about their latest intrusion? Your father tried charm then intimidation, Carol says. He finally backed off when Denise mentioned possible harassment charges. Her expression softens as she reaches into her pocket. There's something else. She hands me a handwritten note. My name is on the envelope in my mother's elegant cursive. Inside, tear-stained paper begs for forgiveness, blames misunderstandings and insists she misses her daughter. The final line suggests a family meeting to heal old wounds, naturally on their terms at their house. My phone chimes. A text from March. Miss you, big sis. Can we talk? Just us. Carol studies my reaction. Your father's letter came yesterday too. Very formal. Wants family mediation with his attorney present. I let out a humorless laugh. The tables have turned. Their friends are asking questions now. People in the community are starting to notice the difference between their claims and the reality. Through the office window I watch 2 therapists I hired, both from disadvantaged backgrounds, guiding patients with skill and compassion. The sunlight pours over the expanded treatment floor, a space built from my vision, my work, my persistence despite years of my family's dismissal. What will you tell them? Carol asks quietly. I place the note in my desk drawer, where it joins the pile of manipulative letters and messages I've documented. When they're ready for a relationship that doesn't involve exploiting my success, I'll listen. Until then, my priority is protecting what I've built. In the waiting room outside, I notice a familiar face. One of March's sorority sisters, the same girl who had received unauthorized discounts last year. Today she sits respectfully, insurance card in hand, expression subdued where arrogance once lingered. The facade is cracking. 2 weeks later, I arrive at Cornerstone Cafe 20 minutes early. The morning air carries the scent of coffee and possibility. I chose this place intentionally. Neutral ground with just enough ambient noise for privacy without isolation. I claim a corner table with clear lines of sight to both entrances and place my leather portfolio neatly in front of me. Its weight is steadying. Inside rests every text, every email, every financial record tying together our messy history. Collected not with spite, but with the same deliberate care I bring to patient treatment plans. The barista approaches with a warm smile and pen poised. Just a black coffee, thank you, I say. My voice is calmer than my heart feels. Moments later, the mug arrives, steam curling upward like the tension in my chest. Through the window, I see them crossing the parking lot. Dad's shoulders squared beneath his golf polo, Mom nervously adjusting her pearl necklace, March striding confidently though her eyes flick toward them, betraying her nerves. Their outfits, cream and tan, make them look like a united front. The bell above the door rings as they step inside. The moment they see me, subtle shifts ripple across their faces. Dad's jaw tightens, Mom's smile stiffens, March's gaze narrows at the portfolio before me. Sarah, sweetheart. Mom leans down to hug me, but I remain seated. Her embrace lands awkwardly on my shoulder. This is cozy, Dad mutters, sliding into the chair across from me. We'd have preferred dinner at home. Family matters should stay private. This isn't just a family matter. I tap the portfolio. This is business. March slips into the seat beside Dad, her perfume drowning out the coffee's aroma. She pushes a paper bag toward me. We brought muffins from that bakery you like. I don't touch it. A waitress arrives, takes their order, and disappears. As soon as she's gone, Dad leans forward, hands clasped tightly. Blood is thicker than water, Sarah, he says in that same authoritative voice he used when I missed curfew at 17. Family stands together. Especially in business. Mom stretches her hand across the table, resting it on my wrist. We've always been proud of you, darling. We tell everyone about our brilliant daughter. The doctor. Doctor of physical therapy. I correct automatically. Exactly, March jumps in smoothly. And speaking of that, I've been thinking about our last talk. I know I came on too strong, so I've come up with a new idea. She slides a sleek tablet from her purse. A consulting role instead of management. 3 days a week. I'll handle social media growth, corporate outreach, build a stronger client presence. I lift the mug and take a slow sip, letting the bitterness steal me. Before we even discuss proposals, there's something you should know. Their shoulders stiffen. The Hendersons cornered me at their anniversary party. Asked me when my family joined the practice. Said congratulations on the partnership. I open the portfolio, spreading neatly arranged pages across the table. They seemed shocked when I told them none of you were part of this business. Dad's face reddens. We never said. I have screenshots, I interrupt, sliding printed posts toward him. Facebook captions about our clinic, references to the family practice. Then text messages from the Wilsons, asking about the family business Mom mentioned at Bridge Club. Mom's face drains of color. Sarah, it was just expressions of pride. Was it? I slide another paper across. This is an email from Dr. Reynolds, asking why you contacted him about partnership opportunities. The silence grows heavy, filled only by the hiss of the espresso machine and quiet chatter of nearby tables. You've been spying on us, March snaps, her voice sharp with hurt, as though I'm the one who betrayed them. I've been paying attention, I reply evenly. The same way I paid attention while building my practice, while you were telling your sorority sisters they could get free treatments. Dad clears his throat, grasping for authority. We're drifting off topic. We came here to talk about March's role. March will have no role in my clinic. My voice is calm, resolute. Neither will either of you. Mom's hand flies to her throat. After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done? I pull out a spreadsheet. Here's the total value of treatments I've provided to this family. $42,735 free. And here, I slide another page forward, are the loans I gave March during my first 2 years of practice, when I could barely pay rent. $16,450. Still unpaid. March's expression twists in shock and fury. You said those were gifts. I said we'd figure it out later. Well, it's later. Dad's carefully maintained businessman mask slips for the very first time. You can't possibly expect repayment after all we've, he starts. After all we've what? I cut him off, voice steady but unyielding. After you missed my doctoral hooding ceremony for March's sorority fundraiser? After you told Dr. Wilson I was only pretending at business until I found a husband? After you brushed off the opening of my clinic as just another job? I press my palms flat against the polished wood table, grounding myself. These, I continue, are my terms if you ever want a relationship with me moving forward. First, my business decisions are mine alone. No advice, no interference, no networking on my behalf. Second, any medical treatment I provide for this family will be billed at my standard rates. Third, you will never again call yourselves partners or owners in my work. Mom's perfect composure wavers. Tears gather in her eyes, not the rehearsed, glistening drops she so often uses but real ones. You don't mean this, she whispers. We're family. Family respects boundaries, I reply. Family honors achievements instead of trying to hijack them. Dad's face hardens with frustration. This is absurd. We never thought you'd actually succeed on your own. We were trying to secure your future. The confession spills out naturally, too naturally, and I realize, after all my sacrifice, they never believed in me. March's mask too finally cracks. This isn't fair, she hisses. You get everything, the recognition, the title, the business. What about me? I'm stuck in a cubicle while you play hero at your precious clinic. There it is. The resentment. The envy beneath her carefully polished charm. I close my portfolio with a sharp snap and stand tall. I built this while carrying the emotional and financial weight of this family. I'm not pretending at anything. And I'm done being invisible. I place exact change for my coffee on the table and walk away. Behind me, I hear Mom's muffled sobs, Dad's angry whisper to March, the scrape of chairs. But I don't turn back. For the first time, I move forward without needing their approval. With each step, their expectations slide from my shoulders, and I walk into the sunlight taller than before. 1 year later, I stand before the floor-to-ceiling window of my expanded clinic, gazing over the Denver skyline bathed in gold. The view mirrors my own transformation. Dr. Bennett, your 3 o'clock is ready, says Melissa, my lead therapist, clipboard in hand. Perfect, I smile. It's Mrs. Abernathy's final session. The waiting room hums with activity. Patients settle into comfortable chairs beneath framed community awards, all lining the wall beside my first business license. The waiting list now stretches months ahead, a living testament to the reputation we've built. Mrs. Abernathy greets me with her usual sparkle. There she is, the miracle worker. I laugh, setting aside her chart. The miracle was you doing the home exercises. Nonsense, she waves me off. My grandson says you're the best in Denver. That boy researches everything. As I guide her through her last stretches, I catch my reflection in the treatment room mirror. The hunched, defensive posture I once carried has softened. I stand rooted, sure of my worth. Later, I welcome 3 new graduates into my mentorship program. Their eager eyes remind me of my own sleepless nights of studying. The most important thing you'll ever learn, I tell them, leaning against the table, is knowing your value. In this career, you'll give constantly. Make sure what you give is respected. When they leave, I review the numbers from our pro bono program, now 15% of our practice. A year ago, I'd have panicked at that figure. Today, it fills me with pride. A buzz from my phone draws me back. It's Leah, my closest friend and the leader of our professional women's network. Ready for tonight? Your turn to share. My stomach flutters. Tonight will be the first time I tell my full story, family wounds included. The thought terrifies me, but it also feels liberating. Before I head out, I check my email. Mom has sent photos of her volunteer work in the community garden. 3 messages this week, each free from demands. Small steps but genuine ones. Dad's name is missing. Some distances take longer to cross. Another email arrives. March announcing her first corporate position, unconnected to my clinic. Her message is surprisingly simple without the usual exaggerated punctuation. A sign of her own growth. That evening, Leah's home fills with warmth and conversation. Unlike my parents' dining room with its oppressive formality, this table hums with authenticity. My chosen family passes dishes, laughter rising like music. To Sarah, Melissa raises her glass, who taught us all that protecting your boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. Applause swells around me. I think of the scholarship I've established for PT students, the workshop I'll lead on boundaries, tomorrow's launch of our vestibular rehab program. Later, on Leah's back porch, the mountains stand resolute in the fading light, unchanging like the boundaries I've learned to keep. You look at peace, Leah says beside me. I am, I answer, breathing deeply. I finally know I can heal others without sacrificing myself. Tomorrow, an elderly man will look me in the eye and say thank you, and for the first time I'll know I've truly been seen. I'm Sarah Bennett, I whisper to the mountains. And I heal people who value the healing.